Shalom. All praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham, Ruach Kodash. Yahweh being the name of the Heavenly Father, whom this world ignorantly calls God, and Yahweh Shai being the name of his only begotten Son, whom this world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. In the name of the Holy Spirit, double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and mercy to the house of David, the hopeful elect, those men that are doing this work in sincerity and in truth around the four corners of the earth, present their bodies as a living sacrifice. And much love to the 130 of you believers out there of the household of faith. To you all, I say shalom and greetings, and Lord willing, this lesson is edifying. So, I'm probably going to entitle this something like, what is a third world country? And the reason why this came up, because, I started to think about, different parts of the world, and obviously I can't travel everywhere and go all the places I want to. That's going to be ultimately reserved for us in the kingdom of heaven, to truly explore the earth. But in my thought process upon that, I started to think, man, like America. Oh, I was talking to one of my friends, so-called, I guess, in the world, this chick. And she was telling me how she went over to Europe, and how Europe is how she basically got the reality of how America ain't shit. That's ultimately what she came down to it. Like how Europe, the places that she been to, she said she went to Spain, she went to Ibiza, she went to Barcelona, Madrid. She went to a couple places like that. And so she was saying she liked how they have a sense of community. You don't have to have a whole lot of money to be happy, and it's just a lot of like they don't slave their lives away, just to pay bills and things like that, And she make a pretty penny too. So for her to say this, I was kind of shocked, because she's a well paid woman, if you will, and so almost to the point where she's thinking about moving and going over there and living, And I told her I don't blame her. Like, seeing as she's not in the truth, man, you know what I'm saying? I don't blame you on wanting to get the hell up out of America. I don't blame you at all, So I wanted to it started making me think about first world countries and third world countries. So I was like, what is a third? Like, I always knew through my spirit, I understood when somebody says third world country, you automatically think of a goddamn Hamite with a big belly with flies around them. That's your first thought when you think of a third world country. But I was like, let me look this term up and see what it really means. Okay. So third world country, basically the definition over time has changed. Okay. It says the third world. The term the third world was originally coined in the times of the Cold War to distinguish those nations that are neither aligned with the West, NATO, nor with the East, the communist bloc. Today, the term is often used to describe the developing countries of Africa, Asia, Latin America, and Australia, Oceania. Okay, so basically there was a point in time where that's how a third world country came to be. Who you were aligned with, who were your allies, who were you partnering with? Were you a part of NATO, or were you a communist country? That's where third world countries originated. But then over time, it got a stigma of being an underdeveloped country or a developing country that's not quite there. And they have a few components what's considered as. It says, this is corporatefinanceinstitute.com. It says, what is the third world? The modern definition of third world is used to classify countries that are poor or developing. Countries that are part of the third world are generally characterized by high rates of poverty, economic and or political instability, and high mortality rates. So high rates of poverty means a lot of poor people, right, who don't have the basic necessities, right, for life. It's hard to get water, hard to get food, hard to get shelter, things like that. That's what poverty is. Economic or political instability. So sometimes finances, the money might not be there, or you gotta the people who are ruling over you are not. Everything is not perfect. They're fighting against each other on the physical, carnal level. There aren't any successful laws in place where the people have to follow them. Okay, and high mortality rates means a lot of death, especially tend to be younger deaths. Right, And I got some scriptures to go along with this. But then, my thought process was really how America is the worst country in the world. And I started to think, like, how's America so terrible and there are third world countries? That was my thought process. So before I get these scriptures, I want to get I was reading I typed in here, is Mexico a third world country? It said Mexico is not a third world country, but then it says, so although technically Mexico is by definition a third world country, it is most certainly none of those other things. Mexico has a thriving economy, an incredibly developed infrastructure, and low infant mortality rates compared to most of the world, right? So infant mortality, when children died at an earlier age. So they're saying it's not, but this is how you know some countries will be considered third world, but that doesn't mean they're poor or broke, or developing. Okay, so before I come to some of these people's testimonies, which I thought was crazy, but let me get this scripture here. This is Proverbs 29:2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. You see, over the state of the earth right now, you have the Edomites, the Amalekites ruling the earth, the so-called white nation ruling the earth right now. So the people are mourning, right? But when the righteous are authority, the people are going to rejoice. When the Israelites, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, we get our new bodies and we're in our right mind and we rule this earth, after 1,000 years of hardcore bondage that's going to be put upon the heathen, the earth is going to rejoice. The people are going to be exceeding glad. Okay. And so, but under Esau, Edom, everybody is mourning. Everybody's sad. There's in the kingdom of heaven, it's not going to be a third world country, it might start off developing at first, but it's not going to be high poverty rates after 1,000 years. It's not going to be like that. Of course, none of the nations are going to be like the nation of Israel. You're not going to have high poverty rates, political instability. Right? These kind of things are not going to take place, man. All right. This is what happens under Esau, Edom. Okay. And that wine that's flourishing from Babylon that they're putting across the earth, man. All right. You know what? Let me get this scripture first, because, America is considered the golden city. This is Isaiah 14:4. It says, thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon and say, how hath the oppressor ceased? The golden city ceased, right? So America is likened unto the golden city, right? Where everything seems glamorous and great, but really this place is gold plated, all right? If somebody try to sell you something that's gold plated, you shouldn't buy it, in all honesty. I know people go and get it, but in all honesty, you shouldn't buy it, because gold plated just simply means that the very thin outside layer is gold, but all of that under there is different type of metals that's weak, easy to break. They don't have any value. Gold plated things are much cheaper in value, and what's under them, they could put goddamn tin or aluminum under there, and as long as it's gold plated, oh yeah, you can say it's real. You can dip it in water, but it's really filth that's up under. It's not true gold. Okay, so America is like that. America is not true gold. All right. But let me see here. So I had a list of some of these countries, and I just want to get some of these people's testimonies about the advantages of living in a third world country and compared to America. Okay, first I'm going to read this off Wikipedia. It says the term third world arose around the Cold War, and it was used to define countries that remain non-aligned with either NATO or Warsaw Pact. The United States, Canada, Japan, South Korea, Taiwan, Western European nations, and their allies represented the first world, while the Soviet Union, China, Cuba, North Korea, Vietnam, and their allies represented the second world. This terminology provided a way of broadly categorizing the nations of the earth into three groups based on political divisions. Due to the complex history of evolving meanings and contexts, there is no clear or agreed upon definition of the third world. Strictly speaking, the third world was a political rather than an economic grouping. You see, so it's really a political thing, not more so than economic and financial. You see? So, but you don't know this kind of stuff. They don't educate you on this. They tell you, oh, it's like, this not a third world country. You automatically think of that and you think of poor, downtrodden, don't got nothing, can't even eat, can't even drink. That's what you think of, right? You don't think of any type of glory that comes out of it. All right. So they had a list of third world countries, and ironically, most of these are Hamite or so-called African countries. I'm just gonna read some of them on here. The only one that that's over this way is Haiti, but it says China, India, which those are considered third world countries. I was shocked by that. China and India can be considered third world countries. It says Afghanistan, Argentina, that one too, Burkina Faso, Bangladesh, Ethiopia, Benin, Democratic Republic of the Congo, Angola, Central African Republic, Chad, Burundi, Haiti, Bolivia, Comoros, Guinea-Bissau, Mozambique, Mali, Bhutan, Cambodia, Eritrea, Egypt, and Indonesia. So those are some third world countries, right? But out of those, China, India, Argentina, I can see why Haiti is, but besides those, all the rest of those are so-called mainly African countries, right? Indonesia is technically Asia. Egypt, is Africa. But that just, it's a little mind blowing, man. But it says here are the 10 countries with the lowest human development indexes: Somalia, South Sudan, Chad, Niger, Central African Republic, Burundi, Mali, Mozambique, Burkina Faso, Yemen. So a lot of these are so-called African countries, and that's why they show you on South Park and all these shows with these developing countries why they don't have anything. But just because you don't, sometimes, like I used to tell brothers, sometimes when we were broke, that's when I was the happiest. Sometimes, well, not broke. When I didn't have a job and things like that, I felt like I enjoyed life more, even though you were thinking about money and finances. But it seems life was seemingly more enjoyable because, yeah, you had to worry about bills, and that was the main headache, is worrying about how you're gonna pay your bill. But besides that, you were seemingly free. It says Isaiah 24:4, the earth mourneth and fadeth away, the world languisheth and fadeth away, the hardy people of the earth do languish. Ultimately this is going to happen, that the destruction that's going to come upon and destroy Babylon, America. But the earth right now is mourning, man. It's mourning, and the people are mourning with it. It's because Esau, Edom is ruling. All right. And Psalms 137:8, O daughter of Babylon, who art to be destroyed, happy shall he be that rewarded thee as thou hast served us. Right. So America is going to be destroyed, man. All right. It's not going to be this golden city, this first world country anymore. It's going to be a no world country. Hey, matter of fact, that lets you know that John 3:16 can be talking about something different as well, too, because it says, let me go ahead and get it. All right. Christians always bring out John, and we didn't cut that up on so many levels, and like the elder brother Benji say, he says John 3:16, one of the coldest verses in the Bible. And that's why they use it, but they just don't understand it. He's right. After he said that, it hit me. I was like, man, he's on point with that. John 3:16, it says, for Yahweh so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life. And that world is talking about cosmos in the Greek, which is talking about a harmonious arrangement of people, right? The Israelites. Okay. So, but I brought that out because we say first world, second world, third world. So for God so loved the world, which world are you talking about? It's talking about the world of Israel. Okay. And see, it's Colossians 2:8. Beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit, after tradition of men, after the rudiments of the world, and not after Hamashiach, not after the anointed. So that's what Esau has done. He's polluted the world about what life is, what the Bible's about, what the Lord looks like, what a first world country is, what truth is, right? The rudiments of the world. And so now let me get some of these comments. So these were on Google Quora. All right. So I was just looking at some of what these people said, just giving firsthand experience answers. All right. It says this is from Carissa Inget. I guess she's been to Thailand and China and a few other places. But she said one of the greatest benefits of living in developing countries was how much extra time I had. I did not cook a single time for 2 years while I lived in Thailand or when my family lived in China. Meals in Thailand were $1 to $2. I ate out every day. See, that's not the same thing. You can't do that here in America, right? Shit, you go out here and you get food here in America, you gonna spend if it's just you spending at least $12 the minimum, but you're gonna spend 15 to 20 for something solid, okay? And that's just you. All right. It says, I got home cooked food. I did not have to buy groceries. I did not have to prepare my food. And I didn't have to wash a single dish for 2 years. This literally saved me 2 to 4 hours each day. Life was so easy. Now that I'm back in the U.S., buying groceries, preparing food, cooking it, and washing dishes take up a ridiculous portion of my day. I wish I had that time back. So, this is why the kingdom of heaven, we let people know that we're going to get slaves. All right. Matter of fact, Isaiah 14 is a good chapter to go back to. All right. We're going to have slaves because she understood true freedom and how to best have her time back. All right. She understood that because she was able to live it. She said, man, I wish I could get that back. This is Isaiah 14:2. It says, and the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord Yahweh for servants and handmaids, and they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. You see, so the Lord said we're going to rule over our oppressors and we're going to take them captive, man. Servants and handmaids. So we're going to understand how it is to get more hours out of the day because we got people serving us. Okay. It says, she said the other benefit was greater wealth. Now, granted, I'm sure she went over there with American money. She wasn't just living in a typical economy as one of the civilians. But nonetheless, it showed her the dynamic of money and lifestyle in another country. It says the other benefit was greater wealth. I lived on around $1,000 a month, including weekly vacations to islands, rent a motorcycle, and fun excursions. I only worked 2 to 3 hours per day teaching English online 5 days a week. $40 to $60 a day, $1,100 a month, plus a $400 a month scholarship from my school. I lived a life of leisure on a tiny salary. It was absolutely lovely. So she wasn't even balling. You see? She wasn't even balling. She was working 2 to 3 days a week, and that's what we were saying. Sometimes you go to these other countries, they don't work like 9 to 5s and 8. They're working 8 to 10, 8-hour shifts, 10-hour shifts, 13-hour shifts. I'm sure there are some, but everybody, that's really an American slavery employee prison system mentality, man. Okay. And so she said $1,000 a month, including, and she was able to go vacations and all of this fun excursions and all that. $1,000 a month? That's crazy, man. My rent for me, I got a 2-bedroom apartment. My portion of the rent is $1,000. You see what I'm saying? So, alone. So that's crazy. It says my salary is more than 4 to 5 times that now. So she's back in the U.S. She said my salary is 4 to 5 times that now in the U.S., but I can't afford to travel weekly or do excursions multiple times a week the way I used to, despite the major increase in salary. So she got all that money, but now she back in America and she can't do shit. She's got to pay bills now. She said the other benefit is pure fun. My family brought go-karts from the U.S. and drove them through the villages and streets of China. There were no rules against it. We climbed ruins of the Great Wall. I rode a moped unlicensed through the streets of Thailand. Nothing was off limits. They weren't going to win any safety awards, but weaker governments in developing countries mean less rules, and that means a lot more freedom and fun. The last is the people. Underdeveloped countries often have a sense of community that I've never... Let me see. I lost my spot. Experience a sense of community that I've never experienced in the U.S. We're so fast-paced here. We forget to sit down and get to know each other. I loved having people I just met sit me down and prepare me dinner. I loved that everyone stopped and talked to me. They were never on a schedule or too busy. Our fast-paced environment is great for productivity, but for me, it's often short on love and connection. I think most developing countries have a lot greater connection and community. It's not all sunshine and roses, but man, do I miss living in a developing country. You see? And I got a couple more, you know what I'm saying? But these are people just she's giving letting you know that America is trash, man. All right? America is trash. And so the Lord is showing us that and he says, let me get that real quick. Because America has tainted the minds of the people. All right? This is Isaiah 65 and 21. It says, "And they shall build houses and inhabit them, and they shall plant vineyards and eat the fruit of them. They shall not build and another inhabit." These are the reversal of the curses. "They shall not plant and another eat. For as the days of a tree are the days of my people, and mine elect shall long enjoy the work of their hands." You see, so we're going to long, and the things that we do, we're going to enjoy doing them. We're going to have time. It's going to be pleasant. You see, so a developing country, the things they lacking, right? It sounds like they just need a tune up, if you will. That's all they need. But they got a lot of the right components. They just need a little bit of tune up on some of the things. But a lot of those places are far better than America, man. Right? You don't need to just be going to work just to pay your bills. All right? It says, "They shall not labor in vain, nor bring forth for trouble. For they are the seed of the blessed of the Lord, and their offspring with them." These are talking about the Israelites. It says, "And it shall come to pass that before they call, I will answer. And while they are yet speaking, I will hear." So the Lord is going to bless us before we even get to ask for what we want. That's how great the kingdom of heaven is going to be. But this lady is just showing you how on earth, how she was living a great time. But they'll tell you that America, the proud, the brave, the free, the place you want to be. It's not, man. All right? But we got to do this work. And Lord willing, we get beamed out of here. We got to chant this place down. So the rest of the world is not absorbing what's going on here and reflecting off of what's going here, because they drinking that wine. You got sodomites everywhere. America want to turn everywhere into a prison system. All right, so let me see. I got one more lady. I'm gonna read this lady's. Her name is Shoba Pai. All right, she said she was a former senior accountant at a shipping agency. She said one of the benefits of living in a third world country is having extended family, relatives, neighbors, help, and domestic help while rearing our children. Right? So that's another thing. America now, I got a lady at my job now. She's like, I got to look up. I got to talk to she be having to go to doctor's appointments. She's pregnant. She be having to go to doctor's appointments. And, she's like, I got to look up the HR rules on maternity leave and all of this kind of stuff, But this society is not even meant. They tell the women, you don't have to rear up children. Go to work, right? You don't got to be a family woman. Go to work, be equal, right? But you're supposed to be rearing up the children so we can make a better economy, a better society. It says this is the only reason, and the scriptures say that. Matter of fact, just so for anybody who, all you scoffers out there who don't understand a woman's role, right? You go to Titus 2 and 4. It says, let me start at 3. It says, "The aged women likewise, that they be in behavior as becometh holiness, not false accusers, not given to much wine, teachers of good things." That's one thing. The old women now, the aged women, they be out here false accusing and saying stuff they ain't supposed to be saying, right? Accusing people doing stuff they didn't do just so they look good. They be out here getting drunk off their butt. They don't teach good things. You got that one old lady. She's saying all y'all dudes out here be hitting up these girls. I'm like, what you doing? She got bills to pay. Teaching these girls to be ratchet and harlots and do what you want and wear the color hair you want and having sex with as many men as you want, destroying their value. You see? It says that they may teach the young women to be sober, to love their husbands, to love their children. So that's what a duty of a woman is. Right? To be sober don't mean that a woman can't drink. You can drink, but you're not supposed to be drunk off your butt. That's not comely of a lady. That's not ladylike. Right? It says to love their husbands, to love their children. A wife is supposed to love their husband and love their children. Continuing on, it says to be discreet, chaste, which is like modest, keepers at home, good, obedient to their own husbands, that the word of the Most High be not blasphemed. So that's what a woman is supposed to be doing. A keeper at home, loving her husband and loving her children. So, and obedient to their husband, right? So now, but this lady saying, she said was able to rear their children better over there. She said this is the only reason these countries have less divorce. You see that? They got less divorce because they believe in the true family structure. All right. And this don't mean that the man got to be busting his ass making $100,000 a year. Okay. The women understand that their job is to look after the children and love the husband. They understand that. And a lot of these be heathen. And they get it, man. But over in America, they want to make you against the laws of God, the laws of nature. All right. It says the Western countries don't have such culture or help. So couples fight to do household chores and marriages are on the rocks. Many are divorced and single mothers. Okay. See that? Couples fighting to do household chores. This is ridiculous. A man he busts his work. He didn't bust 8 and 10 hours of work, and he got to come home and he got to wash the dishes and clean the toilet too. Right? It says the community takes care of the children in the third world countries. That's another thing. You get children here, you got to worry about if a pedophile looking at them. You got to worry about if you're gonna get kidnapped or a human child trafficked. You see, that's America for you, man. This place is truly bitter and truly trash. It says the community takes care of children in the third world countries. Parents just give birth, food, clothing, shelter, and fees for the school or university. You see that? It says there is no stabbing, shooting, gangs, or drugs in underdeveloped or developing countries. Common population is not affected in any way. They are busy, work hard, and raising their children. You see, so ain't no just straight up violence. Just they'll make you think that it's just always violent. You see Hotel Rwanda, and you just think it's like that all the time and like that everywhere. Now I'm sure there are places like that. I'm sure Rwanda, they have the different factions of people that fight against each other, and you have like in Afghanistan, you might have different what was it, Sunnis and Shiites. And, if I'm not correct, I'm not sure if that's the African one or the Afghani one. Matter of fact, let me look it up so I don't sound foolish. But I know it's something there with the same thing as Afghanistan. Afghanistan, 2 groups who fight. Oh yeah, that's a lot of time about Islamic and National Resistance Front. The Shiites and the Sunnis might be in Africa, like I was saying, yeah. But the Taliban and stuff like that. But where was I at? But this is what they show you. It's all about America is all about death, man. But we know part of it is the curses, but they are a violent people, right? Americans are violent people, all right? The Edomite men are violent, right? Violent and bloody men. Okay, let me see here. It says that America was started with violence. It's going to go down in violence. Okay, this is Psalms 18:48. He delivereth me from mine enemies. Thou liftest me up above those that rise up against me. Thou hast delivered me from the violent man. Right? Esau, Edom, the man of violence. And that's why the people, it says, as are the officers, so are the people. Right? So Esau is running the earth. So this place is going to be filled with violence, man. Right? Proverbs 16:29. A violent man enticeth his neighbor and leadeth him into the way that is not good. You see, so what Esau do, he set up traps for you. He'll make it seem like it's all about the money. He'll drop guns in your neighborhood. He'll drop drugs in your neighborhood. He'll tell you, get the American dream, get a mortgage, you're going to go into debt. He tells you all that, you got to pay these overwhelming taxes, but don't teach you anything about, shouldn't there be a tax class in high school? High school is the standard for everybody to go to in America. Like, everybody don't go to college. But typically speaking, everybody goes to high school. Now, people drop out, but everybody, for the most part, goes to high school, at least for a year or two, right? Why is there not a tax class? Why is there not a credit class? All the things that you need to survive in this place, there are no classes on it from a young age. And that's because he wants you to lose, man. He wants you to fail. He leading you into a way that is not good. And so this nation is gonna be brought down by violence, man. Let me see if I had any more precepts. I just wanted to get that out, because our idea of a third world country is not always what Esau has painted it out to be. You know, there's much greater than America, man. I've been blessed to go to a couple places out of the 48. I forget how it's called, contiguous states. You know what I'm saying? I've been blessed to see things in other places, and I ain't saying that America don't have its perks, but at the end of the day, the lifestyle, the beast lifestyle, is not the way, man. It's not the way, and they want everybody. If it was up to them, everybody would be doing this, right? That's why Esau want to put that C hip in everybody, even in those developing countries. He gonna be out there like, hey, you know what I'm saying? You got to take this C hip. That's why they over in Kenya right now with the world coin. The Kenya trying to kick the world coin people out. I just read up on this the past 2 days after I did my lesson. They trying to kick them out because they taking all the people private information and getting their biometrics and stuff, man. Esau is a devil that got to be taken. He's the cancer that got to be taken out of the earth. So, hey, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. I want to give all the praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham, Rachakodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well. And peace and mercy to the elect. Until next time, Shalom.